Hello and welcome back to Hero Builds. Now obviously we have a new hero, Blaze. So if you're a pyromaniac and you just want things to burn, set them on fire, this is the place for you. Anyway, Blaze is a ranged warrior and he actually has some pretty hefty utility. I've tried to capitalise on this utility as well as the fact that he's quite crowd control orientated as well. So for his rank 1, I've gone for the attack speed bonus. I like the attack speed bonus. So adrenaline stim pack for rank 1. At rank 4 we are going for, quite simply, increasing the slow and size of your oil spill. For rank 7 we are going for the passive. Your basic attacks ignite those flames. This basically means you're not having to rely on your 1. Combustion is the ultimate I am picking. I found this a lot more useful as putting all of your allies in one place seems to get them killed very quickly. For level 13 we are going for your E ability, your dash, whatever you want to call it, generates an oil spill. This means more oil, more fire, more burning. Yes! Burn, baby, burn, burn. Level 16. This is quite a simple one, really. We're going for the simple fact that the damage from your passive, your trait, heals you. This gives you a little bit more survivability. And level 20, all of your attacks do damage over time and also can stack, which is absolutely lovely. Now early game he is a bit of a weird one. He can hit pretty hard, but he doesn't really seem to do enough to make him sort of stand out. He's very good at initiating a team fight, and he can be also quite bloody mobile. He does have a bit of a problem when it comes to actual assassins. He doesn't really have an answer to that sheer amount of damage that quite a lot of assassins can dish out. He's not that effective in that manner whatsoever, which is why I've gone for the attack speed as well as movement speed buff using the adrenaline stim pack, so that when I need to get away I can press 1 and run for it, also utilising E to get away, not just using it to engage. It's also a very useful escape, although you need to time it perfectly, or not perfectly, plan in advance, because it does have a cooldown. I've forgotten what they're even called. Basically you press it and a second later it does it. A delay, that's the one. I'll get there eventually. Now he is actually surprisingly tanky. I'm a little bit upset he doesn't actually have some sort of base armour or spell armour anyway. I mean, he's wearing a massive friggin' mech suit. You'd kind of think that thing would be armoured. Nothing special. I think maybe 10 would be pretty good. I would say more armour, or physical armour, rather than spell armour, because it is a mech suit. It's designed against Zerg, not friggin' wizards and shit. Now, Blaze is all about the engagement. He is pretty hefty in a team fight. Solo, he doesn't fare too well against heroes. He's perfectly capable of taking out the minions, and I have noticed that a lot of people have heard from his teaser trailer that he wipes out minions pretty quick and has a very good wave clear, so it's perfectly alright to leave him alone in a lane. Against other heroes, one-on-one, most certainly he will fail. Against minions and camps, he can do some pretty hefty damage. He can burn through them pretty quick, but against actual heroes, not so much. He can get stuck in there and he can hold his own for a little bit, but as you can see here, he hasn't really got too many options in terms of damage as well as survivability. You need to either try and pick one or the other. I've tried to keep him on a mobile sense, thinking I can get in and out while dealing damage, and my survivability would just be simply the fact that I can get out pretty darn quick. works quite well in general until there is an enemy who also has a dash. That means things like Tracer, Karazim, Kerrigan. These are sort of enemies you kind of need to stay away from. Falstead as well can be pretty evil to get away from. He has that AoE lightning thingy, as well as the fact that he's got that short range dash. This can be normally just enough for him to keep you in range and finish you off. But Falstead is also quite vulnerable, especially when he is out in the open, as well as the fact of when he has just used his little dash. If you're feeling brave, you can get in there and give him another good slap, which does mean that quite a lot of the time you can get involved, particularly against the Falstead, because I hate those things, they're really annoying. Right, with his ultimate, I've seen a lot of people so far using the weird bunker, where you call down the bunker. It's a good ability, I won't tell you it's bad, it is good. The problem is, it needs to be really, really well timed, and the well timed opportunity window is so sparse and few and far between that you'll probably have like a perfect opportunity to use it once within a game, and I have seen people just spam it willy-nilly wherever, whenever, just because, you know, screw it, la la la, moving on, have a good day. But even though you can pick what side you come out of the bunker, you are still all going to be coming out of the bunker in a relatively small area, and I have seen players that use like ETC or Zarya to great effect, since you're all coming out in close proximity and they just trap you all, and then your entire team is dead. It's almost like you're self-inflicting yourself with some serious CC, and it doesn't do enough damage to sort of make it worth it. I've found Combustion to be a much more useful ability. It does slow you down, so it will require you to do some pretty hefty positioning beforehand, and to be honest, it just works better. It's got some pretty serious damage over time. We've all seen how brutal Lunara can be, as well as Poison Nova from Zul. It's the same sort of thing, it's just fire. That's all it is, it's just fire. Does some damage over time, does some slowing, and it hits pretty darn hard. Especially when you pick your level 20 talent, because you're doing massive damage over time from everything then, and it stacks, which makes it even more hilarious. So in the long run, particularly in those longer missions that are going to take you to past level 20, Combustion is definitely going to be your better option, particularly if you utilise it in a team fight, using E to dart in, use your R just to get the damage going, then press your 1 to activate your double attack speed or whatever it is, and then you just start throwing oil spill everywhere, ensuring as well to try and keep mobile using your E, because as you finish off your E with the oil slick that comes from it, you end up standing in it, which being in your oil slick while it's on fire heals you. It's not a lot, it's about a globe's worth if you're in it for the full duration of the burn, which isn't really a lot. I kind of feel like for it to be worth it, it needs to be a little bit more, but having a tank that can do that amount of healing as well as damage over time and hit fairly regularly as well is pretty darn brutal. And saying regular hits, having an Abathur on him is hilarious. Just want to point that out, especially when you then press 1. If you have an Abathur in your team, like something like a friend that you have and you can talk over Discord, having an Abathur that wants to solely sit on you is actually pretty darn great, because then you can go for the unstoppable talent at level 1, which is also again very darn useful, but it does mean that if there is a decent assassin on your team, they are kind of going without the Abathur, which would probably be more beneficial. So it's a bit of a toss up, if you will. Now, in the long run, he is actually a really good hero. I actually have started to really enjoy him. He has some great utility. He feels really quite slow, but then he's quite tanky. He hits pretty darn hard. You can see here I'm on this particular bit. I'm going to spend quite a long time just harassing the enemy team. I eventually get myself completely nuked, but I'm just having a little bit of a laugh, running around, trying a few things, just doing a bit of harassment, doing a bit of poking, and then just running off and having a giggle. And yeah, he's great for just really, really being irritating. It's weird. He's nothing special, but he's just so much fun, and you kind of feel like you are being that really annoying little kid at the back of the bus going, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Except he's more, "Are you on fire yet?" And it's just quite funny. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!